thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. Genesis 26 and 24. The golden text recounts another example of God's care for Isaac. The Lord appeared to him and reassured him of continued blessing. Isaac herdsmen found themselves in an ongoing conflict with Amalek herdsmen over the use of water wells. In the Middle East, possession of well site could determine the prosperity or lack thereof of prospective settlers. Communities often grew up and expanded around water sources. Rather than starting armed conflict, Isaac herdmen moved from one location to another in search of unclaimed water sources. Scripture deals with basic and universal concerns as they existed even in ancient times. All humans at some time or other experience fear of some sort. In his short appearance to Isaac, recorded in our text, God addressed this common characteristic. In Genesis 26, God recognized man's tendency to assess situations from a negative viewpoint. Much like Abraham before him, Isaac passed his wife off as his sister because he feared for his life. He claimed Amalek hated him. Fear over the water access conflict had Isaac and his entourage on the run. In the midst of these circumstances, our golden text is a reminder that God is sovereign and powerful. We can count on his steadfast faithfulness. Amen.
All right. So in this lesson, it's talking about abundant blessings, but also trust and faith. Because we a lot of people like to teach or say that faith, in the New Testament they talk about faith all the time, but in the Old Testament it shows a lot of people going faith and trusting in God, and in this test, God brings upon a famine, and Isaac, usually everybody they go to Egypt when there's a famine in the area to get food. So in this text, God comes to Isaac and says, don't go there. Don't go to Egypt. Go here. Go down here. Go stay in the area, around the area. Stay around the area that you're already in. So I'm gonna start reading here. So Genesis 26:1, and there was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in the land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto the land and unto to thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham the father. So here he's still talking about blessing Abraham's seed. He's still saying, hey, the promise I made to Abraham don't go nowhere. It stays. Just because you might be one generation removed from Abraham or 10 generations removed from Abraham, you're still going to get blessed because I promised that to him. Anybody got anything?
God of your fathers. And he said, walk before me. And he says, also in the lesson, he tells Isaac that for Abraham's sake. He said, I'm not doing this. I'm doing this for Abraham's sake, because you didn't prove yourself to me yet. He said, he lets him know. He said, I'm doing this for Abraham's sake. He didn't say, tell Isaac, I'm not doing this for you right now, Isaac. But because of Abraham, believe what I told him, and it was accounted for him to righteousness, I'm doing it for Abraham's sake. And eventually we see that Isaac becomes very wealthy and well known, very rich, like Abraham was. But he's already, he tells us that, the Lord tells us that he never changes. So he's telling Isaac, the land I swore to Abraham, the oath I made to Abraham, that oath is for you.
And you hit it right there. The key thing for us as children of the promise of faith is to understand God is a covenant-keeping God. He keeps his word. We have to think on that term and realize that he's never, like you just said, he's not changing.
Right.
He said, hey, what I made, like you said earlier, what I said with Abraham, I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
He said, listen, I'm a covenant-keeping God. He said, listen, wherever you go, whatever you do, I'm blessing your seed and them be in all his countries. He's just confirming what he already have said. And that's the beautiful thing about our God. Once he told us you're saved, he said, he that believeth in Christ, who believes in his heart and faith, you shall be saved. He said, you'll be with me. That's it. So we have to, like you was talking about, all that, think on those terms. Think on God, what God is saying, not what we think about it. Think of what he said, and if we act upon what God said, we'll be the better off than to act on our interpretation of what God said. Just go for what he said. His word is good. Don't add to it, don't take from it. If he said, hey, if you do this, you'll be blessed. I got you. If we move on that, that's it. That's what he's telling us.
And then when you think about it, that's what makes Jesus so good too, is because he's saying that, hey, because of Abraham, I'm gonna keep this promise. And as us, as humans, we can say, all right, God, you promised Abraham, but not only did you promise Abraham, you gave us Jesus. And you promised him too. So I come in the name of Jesus. Hey, not because of me, no, but because of your son is the reason why I come. Is because of your son, you said I can have all this. And that's what is showing is that because of Abraham, not in the Old Testament, because of Abraham, we can have all these things. Even if let's just say we're not in the New Testament yet and Jesus didn't come yet, we can still say, because of Abraham, God, you still promised me this. Because he said it, So, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all these nations of the earth be blessed. So he's saying everybody is going to be blessed because the promise I made Abraham. If you believe and trust in what I said, if you believe and trust in what I told Abraham, you will have these things. Even with Isaac, when you think about Isaac, and like you said with Abraham just dropped all this stuff and went. He's just like, all right, God, you said it, let's go. Even with Isaac did the same thing. Isaac is like, even though you're not telling me where I'm going, I'm still going to trust in you because of what I know that you did for Abraham. What I know that you've done before, I'm still going to trust you. And that could be scary at times because we all want to know where everything is. We want to know where we're going. what we doing when we get there, how it's gonna come out when we do what you said do, and a lot of times it's not like that. Sometimes he'll give it to you like that, but it's not like that all the time. We have to know and trust that God is going to keep his word. We got to know that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. He's going to bless you.
Okay, like in verse 4, where it says, I will make thy seed multiply as the stars of heaven. You know, that's what he told. Same thing he told Abraham.
Same thing, yeah.
But look at this. He says, and I will give unto thee all these countries. Think about this, y'all. He's telling him, he's fixing to give him some countries where people live. In other words, he's taking, I'm giving you this country. I'm giving you this king over to you. I'm giving you this country. So he's telling him that you're finna take over some things. It's just like you fixing to invade some countries and they're gonna be yours. You know, remember when Joshua sent the 2 spies out, and he told them this. He said, "This is your land." But the 10 came back with a bad report. Well, they would have been justified if they'd went over there and took them countries right then. They eventually took what God told them to take, but they didn't have faith like Joshua and Caleb. So this is what God is talking about. I'm gonna give you these countries, but you got to go get them. It's up to you to go get them.
Anybody else? No? Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and keep my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws, then Isaac sowed in the land and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. So Isaac did what God said. He sowed where God said sow, and God blessed him 100-fold. So a lot of times, like I said before, we want to know what's going on. All right, what am I doing when I get? Where am I going? What am I doing when I get there? And what's going to happen after I do what you say do? You know, and we like, God, I know I've done it a lot of times. All right, God, I still haven't preached. What you going to do for me? You know, so we gotta know that not only do we gotta have faith and we gotta trust, we also gotta be obedient. You know, what would happen if Isaac said, all right, God, I know what you said do, but I'm gonna go to Egypt anyway. You know, what would have happened if he would have went to Egypt anyway? You know, would he have got blessed the way he got blessed? You know, that if he would, it's just a thought. What if he went to Egypt and the famine went with him? You know, he go to Egypt and now Egypt is in famine. You know, so we got to be obedient to what he says and to his promises and to what he tell us to do. You know, a lot of times we get into self and we look at areas in our life that are in famine, that are in, you know, a dry place, and we like, you know, God, what you gonna do? You take it too long. You know, I need this right now. So I know what you said do, but I know where I can get some money real quick. I'm finna go do that. You know, or you know, you could have been in the streets or anything like that. You know, the streets are always calling you back. You know, your homeboys, they always miss you. You know, the stuff that you used to do, always gonna call you. So it's like, all right, God, I know what you said do, but I know I can go get some money over here if I go rob these people real quick. You know, I can go sell these drugs real quick. I know I can get some money. But I know you said trust you. I know you said have faith in you. And I know you promised me things. You promised Abraham, and you promised his seed. And I know I'm a part of that, but kind of take it too long. You know, sometimes we gotta be patient. Yeah. Which is not an easy thing to do. Being patient is not easy. I see myself as a patient person, except for something I want. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind sitting in traffic. You know, I don't care. Uh, uh, even if sometimes even if I'm in a rush, it still don't bother me. You know, I could sit in traffic, I can be patient. But when I want to when I want something, or I'm headed to where something I want to do, then I'm like, hey, y'all need to come on now. Y'all need to hurry up. You know, but being patient is not easy. It's never going to be easy. Having faith is not easy because of the stuff that we see and stuff that we go through. You know, causes us to lose faith. You know, or we forget what God has done for us before. You know, not only do we have to remember his promises and what he said that he's going to give us, we also got to remember when there is famine, we got to remember what he did before. You know, God knows it's famine right now, but I remember you did this before. I remember when I didn't have any money, money just appeared. You know, I had bills to pay and somebody just walked up to me, hey, I don't know why I'm giving you this, but here you go. You know, so you just gotta trust and believe. You gotta be obedient. Obedient is the main key in this. You know, not just having faith, not just trusting. You got to do what he say, regardless of what's going on in life. You know, like I said before, God told me this is where I'm going to be at. I'm going to be up here preaching, and this is where your blessing's going to come from. So it's like, all right, I understand that, but today I don't feel like preaching. You know, today, my teeth been hurting all week. My stomach hurt. I've been out of it all week. And I knew I had to get up here and do this. But it's like, co-pastor was like, oh, you don't have to. We can get somebody else to do it. But I said, no. First thing is I said I was going to do it. So I got to stand on my word and do what I said I was going to do. Second thing is, this is my job. That's the second thing. This is my job. This is what I'm supposed to do. Regardless of how I feel or regardless of what's going on in my life, God said, Carlos, this is what you are. This is who you are, and this is what you're going to do. So you got to be obedient. So, you know, but I ain't always obedient, so. we always obedient. Yes, sir. Turn this up. Turn that up.
Hello? Amen. God does things in your life, and when we follow, the first and last, when we follow God and be obedient, you're going to find out people around you will envy you, be jealous. Yes, they will. They'll start saying, oh, they think they all of that, and you in your humility know, I ain't did that different. I just trusted God. I trusted when he said that, I followed it, things changed. Yeah. Things start happening. Yeah. But the physical part, people will envy you. Yes, they will. They will start saying, oh, you think, no. Shake And that's the thing it's telling you in the lesson. It says the Philistines envied him because what they did, first of all, when he first came, they ain't say nothing about it. They were just watching. They looking at you. First you pull up, you come back, all of a sudden you bought the lot next door. You've got some more land over here. You got some more cattle coming. They say herds are coming through the city. Wait a minute, they all went over there to his place. They bypassed the stables and went straight to Isaac, you know. And the thing about it, God is moving because of the obedience, the faithfulness.
That's right.
But he's moving not just on, this is the key. He's not moving on our faithfulness. He's moving on his faithfulness. See, he's the one that's faithful. But when we put our trust in him, we gain some of that faith that makes us faithful to him. Because we can't be faithful on our own. We have to get it from him.
Come on.
That's the gift. That's the fruit. We get that from him, and we just exercise it. Because it doesn't originate with us.
Right.
Faith does not originate with us.
Right.
It originates with God, because he's faithful. But then when he pours his love into us, and we receive that love and respond to that love in obedience, our faithfulness is really just him reciprocating and bringing it all the way back home.
Y'all make me remember this girl named Teresa. She had told me, she don't call me no more. She used to call me all the time. She don't call me no more. Now she said, since I've been going to church, I think I'm sanctified. I don't do the stuff that I used to do. And I said, well, you need to come to church too.
And they will do that too.
I just want to back up to verse 5. I want to point out something in verse 5 and just make a point. He said, because Abraham obeyed my voice,
Yeah.
kept my charge, my commandments, wait a minute, what commandments? And my statutes and my laws. What laws? Law hadn't come yet. But the word tells us the law is already in our heart. You know? So he's telling Abraham that all of this, and he didn't see Moses' 10 commandments. They weren't there yet.
But he kept the commandments that he had given him.
Right.
Abraham, see. So when you look at this here, right here, and I go back to like you said, obedience. Do y'all know how much obedience is in the Bible? Everything is in the Bible dealing with obedience. That's why they say obedience is better than what? Sacrifice. You sacrifice and all that stuff, when you can just put on and did it. And it'll be over with. Just do what he tell you to do. And a lot of times we question
And a lot of times, you know, we gotta know that we're not better than anybody. We're just different. We're just different. You know, I'm not better than you. I'm just different. You know, I'm set apart. I'm set aside. You know, because a lot of people they get, like you said, they get jealous and they get upset because God is blessing them, blessing this person or taking care of this person. It's like, for one, I'm being obedient to what He said, and God said if I be obedient, He's gonna fulfill His promises. So that's the first. That's the first step. I'm being obedient to what He said. The second is I'm different. It's that simple. I'm just different. He chose me. I didn't ask Him to choose me. You know, He chose me. By Him choosing me, I already know that I'm set aside. I'm already know that I'm different from everybody else. You know, and when you are different, you're going to get attacked. You know, people are going to point you out. Oh, look at this person over here. Oh, this person decided to sit over by itself. All these people in this room, and you point that one out, the one that's sitting over here in the corner. For what? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just focus on what you got going on? You know, even, like I said, the famine was there. Y'all upset and mad at Isaac when you could have easily said, hey, brother, my family over here, you know, we starving, we ain't got nothing. Can you help me out? Instead of doing that, you let pride get in the way and be like, nah, something got to be up with him. You know, you get upset. You let the devil get in your ear and tell you all kind of crazy stuff, and now you sitting over there mad and upset and envious and stuff like that. When all you have to do is set your pride aside and say, hey, brother, can you help me?
Last night, I stayed with a friend of mine in Lancaster. So I didn't get real early this morning. But her and I have been saying we were gonna hook up, whatever, and we just hadn't. So I went out there last night, and on the way, I stopped at QT on a cart to get some gas. And as I was pulling in, this white guy walked right in front of my car. And my first thought was, will you get your out of the way? You know, move. That Alicia thing. Right. Like, get out of the way. And so he looked at me, he's like, sorry, sorry. And so I pulled up to the front, and here he goes. I was like, what do you want? That's what I'm thinking. What? And so I didn't want to get out of the car. I was trying to ignore him and look for stuff so he'll go away, but he was just standing there looking at me. And my driver's door, he's just looking at me. So I got out of the car and he said, what year is your car? So I told him, he's like, that is a beautiful car. I love it, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, I'm sorry to bother you. He said, but I left my wallet at home. Well, you know the gas station stories. I hear it all the time. Yeah. He said, I left my wallet at home. He said, and I'm just trying to get a couple of, he said, you have any change. He said, I'm just trying to get to my wife. She's stuck in Cleveland. And I was like, boy, if you don't get away from my car. Right. And so I said, I told him, I said, hold on just a second. And I got back in my car and I asked God, I said, do I give him anything? And God said, yes. And so I gave him the money that I had. I said, I don't have any change for this and that. And he said, thank you so much. He said, everybody's, I think, kind of been a little freaked out and scared of me because, you know, and he wasn't nasty, he's clean, you know. And so he said, you're the first one to actually help me out. And he said, I appreciate you so much. I'm a pastor of such and such church. And I was like,
And so I was ready to cut up, cuss him out, get away from my car. But he really turned out to be a pastor of a church. And I said, see, that acting fool here. And cut up. But that's why I stop and I pray and I ask God, do I give him this money or not? Because typically I don't give people money at all when they come up to my car and ask. I tell them, go away. But God said yes. So I had to be obedient. I'm thinking to myself, what? Lord Jesus. That's my daddy. Come on over here. This is my twin, my twin twin. Yeah, so, ooh, you smell good. But, yeah, so it was just about, I had to think, I'm so hard-headed all the time. And that one time, I knew I had to stop and ask God, and I was obedient. So I think about, what if I had not given it to him?
Yeah.
And, who knows why God said, when he prayed for me before he went in, and I watched him, and he really did go in and got gas to put in his car. So, again, I'm learning, listen, to ask, and this thing called obedience that I haven't done for 40-some years, it's not really hard anymore.
Yeah.
You just ask God and he'll tell you.
Yeah.
He'll tell you. He'll guide you, but the problem is we don't ask God, we just act.
Thank you.
And when you just act, you're going to mess it up every time.
That's right.
But when you ask God, he's going to guide you and you're going to be right every time when you listen to him. So, just like the sermon I preached about obedience, I promise y'all, ever since then, I really try my best to listen to him first. Even if it hurts people's feelings, even if people get mad about it, well, it wasn't for me, or it wasn't for you, if God didn't tell me to do it. So, obedience is everything, and it does. The more you do it, the easier it gets, because you get to see the results.
Yes. Yes.
But even with a couple of points that you said, even if, even when you asked God and God said give it to him, and he went in there and bought a beer, that don't matter. You was obedient. That's on him. That's on him. You did what God said do. So even if you would have saw him do that, don't even get upset. Don't get mad. You just say, God did what you said, and go on about your day. Yeah, but you made a good point. I know we always mess with you about your old self. We make fun of you, but your old self. But you made a good point in that. Even that goes with the lesson. Isaac didn't get mad at all. He just kept going. He just kept moving on. They came. They claimed the water. They said, "This is ours." All right, let me go. God blessed me with that one here. I'm going to go over here and build another one because he's going to bless me with this one too. Hold on. Go ahead.
Holy Spirit just kept saying, get in line, get in line. Stay in line, get in line, get in line. And in the first part of chapter 26, God reminded Isaac of his promise. The line of his promise. If we get in line, the line of his blessings, because he's already mapped out. You know what I'm saying? So he has this whole thing mapped out. It's mapped out. It's from Genesis to Revelation. All of our blessings are in here. And when we get in line, fall in line, then we're blessed. But we realize every time you step out of line, you know what I'm saying? You get yourself off track. But of course, God gets us back in track, and we get back on track with his blessings. It's amazing. All of our blessings are in here. And they're not all for us. It's not about us.
Right.
He's mapped this whole thing out. It's about him. He has a purpose. He has a plan. We're blessed along the process.
We just along for the ride.
That's right. We're blessed along the process. And one of the practical points, though, said that God is said about God's people pray for His will to be done in their families, in their homes. I was thinking the other day. I was like,
know what happened to my car from my job and everything. And other people's impatience for your journey will damage you if you're not connected. I was on the bus stop with another friend of mine. He walked by. He was talking to me, and we discussing the day or whatever, you know. And a coworker named Jerry. You remember Jerry? He was talking about, it's taking a long time for you to get everything taken care of for your car, this and that. Why don't you have this? And you should go, boy, you should do this. God told me to do something else. You know, so I'm the young man, me and him talking about the Bible and everything, and I always tell him, whatever God tell me to do, that's what I'm gonna do. So you telling me what the courts can do for me, but God and all that sent me on another path. If I listen to what you say, it's gonna take longer, because I'm gonna mess it up. Like you said, you're gonna mess up, because other people's impatience
Yeah.
for watching your journey,
Yeah.
that will damage you every single time. Because when you get tired, that's when they get in your ear. They say, why you ain't got this? Why this ain't like this? Why this? Why that? Impatience of another person will damage your patience. It will damage your patience.
Because you start listening to them.
Yeah, you listening to everything around you, because you so, oh, why this ain't go, I'm gonna listen to you, God, and I'm gonna say, somebody say, well, see, I would, and you look,
Thank you.
wait a minute, that makes sense. Even though it makes sense for them.
Right.
It don't make sense for you. What makes sense for you is what God told you at that moment in time. Impatience from other people will damage your patience.
And to make a point to what you were saying, like when people find out that I'm a minister, they always, you know, that one question they always ask you, you going to school? You going to go to school? You going to go to school? And I asked God one time, he said, what can school teach you that I can't? What can this world do that he can't do? You know, like you said, we always get mixed up in what the world is doing, and we forget that God can do more, that God can teach you more. You know, so we don't. And I know it's hard, not like with Peter when Jesus called him and he walked on water. It's not always easy to not look down when you realize what you're doing or how high up that God is taking you. You know, when God is taking you higher and you start looking around like, man, God, didn't you know I was afraid of heights? You know, I'm getting pretty far off this ground now. You know, God, you know, he looked down and like, man, I'm walking on water. And he instantly sunk. You know, we got to keep our eyes on God. We got to keep our eyes on God's promises. God said what he said, and he going to do what he said he going to do. And we got to keep our eyes on that. Brother Lord, can you finish the lesson real quick? I want to finish before our time run out.
Okay, starting with verse 20. And the herdsman of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dig another well, and strove for Isaac for that also. And he called the name Sitnah. And he removed from thence, and dig another well, for that they strove not. And he called the name of the well Rehoboth. And he said, for now the Lord has made unto us, and we shall be fruitful in this land. And he went up thence to Beersheba. And the Lord appeared unto him that night and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant's Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, and called the name of and called upon the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants dig a well.
Like I was saying, go ahead. Like I was saying earlier, Isaac didn't get upset. He just kept moving on. We got, like I said, we gotta think. We're quick to react, but we don't want to think. We gotta think. Hey, God just blessed me here. Even though these people tripping and they want to claim what God is, people always want to go along the ride with you. They see God taking you up, they want to come with you. They always want to hang on to your feet as you going up. Like, don't leave me. I see what God doing for you. He can do it for me. But everybody can't go with you. You got to drop some people off. The more you grow, the smaller your circle gets, because you don't always, the people that you yoke with, you don't always continue, keep their yoke. Somebody might fall off. Y'all might just be going in different directions. Y'all might not have a fallout or anything like that. Y'all might not be angry at each other. Y'all might not have a fight. Y'all just going in different directions. So we just got to stay focused.
Everyone that has spoken, God has kept saying this. It's something he told me a long time ago. He said, in all you're getting, get understanding. But this is what he gave me. He says, when you're dealing with people in the kingdom or in the world, and in this lesson, he says, having an understanding of God simply means standing under God. When you move out from under God, we got a misunderstanding. But when you are under God, that's understanding God. Because you can never understand him unless you stand under him. Under his covering. And what he brought to me, corporations. I have a corporation. A corporation has many companies up under it. Umbrella. Right? They're under the umbrella of the corporation. That's how we are with God. But when we move out from under the umbrella, we lose all coverage and all understanding. Because now you're removed from the board, you can't hear what's going on in the inside. And that's where she was saying, like, other people, because they are not standing under God, they don't have an understanding of why you do what you do. Why you doing it the way you do it. That's right. The Philistines couldn't understand what Isaac was doing because they wasn't under God. See what I'm saying? But Isaac was under God and under God's covering through Abraham. That's right. So what he did was based on his understanding. He didn't have to know. He just knew. You know what I'm saying? That's where it all falls out.
We always want to put the word crazy in front of faith. You got to have crazy faith. You got to have crazy faith. You don't even have to put crazy in front of faith. All you got to do is just say you got to have faith, because faith to have you out here looking crazy anyway. Faith to have you out here looking crazy. Like you said, they don't understand why you do what you do. It's because I got faith. It's like God said it, so I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Even if it makes you look crazy.
I like that. All right. The practical points. Trials and tests grow faith. I'm going to read that again. Trials and tests grow faith. That's Genesis 26:1. Number 2, true faith causes us to walk confidently because we know God is faithful. God's people stand on his promises when others are running away. God is faithful to keep his promises and will bless his people despite mistakes and missteps. Conflict allows believers to display faith in God's character and provision to the world. Y'all hear that? Conflict allows believers to display what? Faith in God's character and provisions to the world. Worship is the best response to the promises of our faithful God. Last words. You need a covering. You hear me? You need a covering. Your covering is God. Then the next covering, he said, forsake not the assembling of yourself. Because you need a covering even in the world. You need a covering. You see what I'm saying? And even when it goes back, it says conflict allows believers to display faith. When you're coming up under something and you don't have that covering, those conflict will make you lose your faith because you start looking at man and start looking at God and what God has already brought you through. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when conflicts come up against us, instead of us rejoicing and thanking God because you know he's going to bring you out. See, a lot of times, what do we do when conflict comes? We quit. Or we start blaming God first. Why did God do this to me? Why did God do this to me? Don't we do that? Come on, just be real. But instead of us getting to the point knowing that nothing can happen without God's what? Without God's approving it, right? And when you're not under the covering, anything can happen to you because you don't have God's covering. He said, seek ye first the kingdom of Alicia, of Brother Deloy, of Sister Kay. That's what we do, don't we? We go to other people first before we call on God, don't we? We got to hear what everybody else has to say, and then we go to God and say, now, God, what you say? He said, seek him what? First. And then everything else will start going right. And that's the reason why he used Abraham, right? He used Abraham to show us the faith. Then it filtered down to Isaac, you see? So we said what? Abraham, Isaac, and who else? Jacob. That's the same thing in your household. You have faith, it'll filter down to your children and their children and your children. But with no covering, Satan can come at you because first thing he said, well, you know what, God, they ain't got no covering no way. So will you give me permission to bring something in? Because conflict either going to make you come to God or you going to leave God. Conflicts will make you, if you are a Christian, it ought to make you come closer to God. Because see, the world already got out. That's one thing I don't understand too, and I had to learn this myself. The devil wants you to mess up. And we help him. But God says here, all you got to do is ask me. Then he said, just ask. That's all we got to do is ask him. Then after we ask him, we go and do something else. He tell us what to do, and we go and do something else. Good job, Carlos.
Very good, Carlos.
That's what I'm talking about.
Be ye ready at all time because I will be calling on you again.
Yes, you will be. I already got the next one for you, brother.
All right. Kids,
Come on, Minister Derek is teaching our youth now. I'm so proud he accepted that.
Come on, cheers.
y'all moving like grandma. Here you go.
Explain what you have, Shannon.
The Bible?
What causes us to turn to God?
Send. Obey.
Okay, I understand obey, but what happens when we don't obey? What does that cause? You know the answer. I specifically asked you to remember this. Don't look at you, man. Look at me. You got obedience and then what? You got obedience and then what? Stand up, I got it. You got obedience, and then what do you have?
I'm on speech, and I know you
Come
can
on,
talk.
you can say it.
Come on, tell it.
You got obedience, but what is the other side of obedience? What I explained to you. You got the words Disobedience.
Disobedient.